Hello guys and welcome to today's video. In today's video I'm going to be sharing my best Black Ops 6 and Xbox Elite Series 2 controller settings here for Season 1. That's right, Season 1 is available now here in Black Ops 6. I'm going to be sharing those all important Black Ops 6 Season 1 settings and my Black Ops 6 Xbox Elite Series 2 controller settings here in Season 1. So we're going to start off with the Elite Series 2 controller. However, if you don't want to see the settings for my Elite Series 2 controller, if you don't care or you've got your own settings, then feel free to skip. I will have some timestamps down below so you can go to those all-important Black Ops 6 Season 1 settings. But let's get right into it. Let's talk about my Xbox Elite Series 2 controller settings for Black Ops 6 that I do obviously pair with my Black Ops 6 settings here in Season 1. So let's start with the mapping. First off, you can see nothing amazing has changed. Everything is default. You know, Y is Y, B is B, A is A. However, most of you will probably be more interested in the paddles. As you can see, it shows an image of 4 paddles. However, I only use one paddle, that paddle being the right side. I only use this one down here. It also shows a long paddle here, which is also mapped to A. The reason it's mapped to me for A is because that's my jump shot button. I don't want to be taking my hand, my thumb off the thumbstick to be able to do a jump shot. So I have this thumbstick down here. And I also use the short paddle here. I don't use the long paddle as much as it shows an image there. And this is going to be personal preference as well. So some of you can like copy me and use one paddle and just map it to A to jump shot. However, you can use 2 paddles, you can use 3 paddles, you can use 4 paddles, or you can use no paddles at all. You don't have to use all 4 paddles. I don't want people to sit there and think that you have to. It's about being comfortable with the controller. So make sure you got this set up correctly. Make sure this is comfortable for you. Obviously, try this out in bots and combat training first. And just make sure you're able to actually perform and hit those buttons, well, those paddles, without accidentally, knocking a paddle whilst you're in a gunfight or, being comfortable with being able to reach that paddle. So make sure you got this set up correctly for yourself. Other than that, nothing too crazy here for the mapping. Next up, left stick, okay? Keep this on default, keep it on radial. Nothing too crazy has to go on here. However, I have seen people have had success in Black Ops 6 with instant because of the movement and stuff, and movement is very crucial this year in Black Ops 6 with the Omni movement, of course. So you can have this as I've got it set up, which is default and radial, but you can also change this to instant and mess around with the curve a little bit if you really want to. I will leave that option there, but I go with default and go with radial. However, the next one, right stick. With this, you need to set this to true diagonals and default. Trust me, this is the best option when it comes to aiming in Black Ops 6. This Xbox Elite Series 2 controller with the true diagonal settings is unbelievable. It's something I stand by. It's something that I've had in every video I've ever made with the Xbox Elite Series 2. I say the same thing over and over again, but for those of you who are new, true diagonals is a secret sauce. I wish I had a hand cam to show you, but this is very, very precise. You will not miss with this setting. It makes it so much more accurate on the controller. It's hard to describe. You will know instantly by feel how much better this is. So use true diagonals and just thank me later. But whilst we're talking about the thumbsticks, the left stick and the right stick, I will briefly talk about 2 things that you can't actually see on screen and are more you're going to notice with your controller. When you get an Xbox Elite Series 2 or the Xbox Elite Series Core controller, though it does work for both, they do come with a key. So I want to talk about tensions here. You can change your tension on your sticks, which is the left stick and the right stick. Both can change your tension to the least amount of tension, maximum amount of tension, and you have a medium setting for tension. Now, I have the left stick on default, which is the loosest tension possible. But on the right stick, I take the thumbstick off. So you have to take the thumbstick off and you'll see there's like a silver bit in there. You put the key in there, twist it until it's really, really tight. That's when you get the maximum tension. And on the right stick, I have maximum tension. The reason for this being so I don't overcompensate, that little bit of resistance in the thumbstick makes it so much more accurate. So again, to repeat, left stick, loose tension, have it in your least amount of tension as possible. Right stick, maximum tension. And then finally, the other thing we'll talk about when it comes to thumbsticks is obviously the Elite Series 2 controller does come with thumbstick modules, so you can change them to be short, medium, long, bigger surface area, etc. I have both of them as Xbox default sticks. So the default sticks you get on your normal like Xbox, everyday Xbox controller, those are the same. However, the left stick does have this, I don't know where I got this from, actually. I think it was from Temu or something, some random thumbstick. It's just a larger surface area. It's quite nice. So I'm not going to recommend it because I don't know where I got it from on Temu, but it's actually quite nice. It's really, really nice on my thumb and, helps my thumb stay on the thumbstick and not go over the top and everything. And it just stays nice and firm on there. But on the right stick, and I am not sponsored by this company in any way, shape or form, but I have used their product for years now, is Control Freaks. And I have a Black Ops 4, okay? This shows how long this has lasted. I have had this Control Freak since Black Ops 4. Since the release of Black Ops 4, I have had a tool Control Freak on this controller, or just any controller I've ever used. And they are amazing. They don't break, they don't, get dirty or anything like that. They are incredible. I can't say enough about a Control Freak product. It's amazing. It stands the test of time, and it is great. It's taller. It gives me more surface area. It makes it have more precision. It's hard to describe, but there's a video talking about like why you get more precision with this. But I have a tall thumbstick essentially with a larger surface area. So if you want to get the same effect without buying a Control Freak, then just simply use a tall Xbox stick. But it doesn't have as much as a large surface area as the Control Freak that I'm using, but it is great nonetheless. So yeah, left stick, normal default with a more comfortable thumbstick on top, and right is again, normal default thumbstick with a tall Control Freak on top. So if you wanted to know that. But next up, triggers. This is actually also important. Now, of course, the Xbox Elite Series 2 and Elite Series Core have trigger stops, which you can activate. On my left one, I have no trigger stop whatsoever. It's a full press. And on the right trigger, I do have the maximum trigger tension. So as soon as I press the trigger, I can't press any further. But you will have noticed I've set them to 0 to 1 for both. And the reason for this being, you're going to see as soon as I press, that is it. I have done a full press. This will be like doing a full press without fully pressing the trigger. The reason for this is, of course, one, when you want to be aiming down sight as quick as possible. And of course, on the right trigger, especially with like you want to be able to shoot instantly, there are obviously semi-auto weapons in the game that you're going to want to be firing as quick as possible. So make sure you've got these set to 0 to 1 to have the quickest response time with your triggers. Next up, vibration. I can't say this enough. Turn this off. You do not want the controller shaking around your hand. It's just going to mess your aim up. I know it's not crazy and over the top, and it's not like, you've got some like crazy steering wheel in your hand or something, but having the controller shaking your hand is not going to help you be accurate and get those nice, easy long shots that you're trying to do, especially with snipers, stuff like that, where you want to be as precise as possible. Having this vibrate in your hand is not going to be useful. Have this all set off, and it will increase the lifespan of your controller, which is very useful, especially on the Xbox Elite Series controller, which I'll talk about more at the end. And then finally, the color, okay? Change it to orange, maximum aim assist. You're going to get all the aimbot headshot. No, I'm joking, right? But you can change the color, okay? You can change it to whatever you want to. White, red, pink, blue, yellow. You name it. You want to do it, you can change it. But yeah, orange gives you maximum aim assist. I might be joking on that. But final thing, little thing to talk about the Elite Series 2 if you are here for the first time, and want to see about the Elite Series 2. My one recommendation, it's a great controller. It can do many things. You can obviously change it whenever you want and customize it and everything. I think it's an unbelievable controller. However, get a warranty for this controller, okay? This thing does break, has a tendency to break. I always get a warranty of this, and I mean an extended one, like 3 years. You get a default 1-year warranty out the box, but it's not long enough, okay? Normally, this controller will break in about the 2-year to 3-year mark is what I found. Things like the buttons will break, or the LB buttons, RB buttons. Those are the issues that I've had. Some people have had like stick drift and stuff. I personally haven't come across that with any of my Elite Series 2 controllers, and I have went through 3 of them, but it is a great controller. I do think it's worth the money, and I put like serious hours into the controller. We're talking like 4 hours, 5 hours every single day with this controller. So great controller. Those are my settings for Black Ops 6 with the Elite Series 2 controller. I'm now going to cut and go into those all-important Black Ops 6 Season 1 settings. Right, and welcome to the Black Ops 6 Season 1 settings part of the video. Welcome to those of you who've just come from the Elite Series 2 segment, and also welcome to those of you who may have just skipped to and see those all-important Black Ops 6 Season 1 settings. Here they are. Let's get into it. Let's talk about these all-important settings. But want to stand by this. These are some great settings, and I basically feel like I do not miss in this game with these settings. So 100% take advantage of these settings that I have been using in Black Ops 6. First of all, starting with the button layout. We want to use tactical. The reason for this being it changes your B to melee and your stance, slide and dive to the stick. The reason for this being I don't have to take my thumb off the thumbstick to be able to perform like a slide cancel and stuff or do the dive mechanic. I don't really dive too much in this game. It is quite cool. It is quite gimmicky. It's useful in some situations, but mainly you want to be able to do the slide cancels, of course, which are very, very important in this game. And meleeing isn't too important, so we obviously have it set to the B. So I also don't accidentally melee. It's very, very useful. Definitely set to tactical. Horizontal and vertical stick sensitive. I have got these at 6.6. Essentially, I have buffed it up by 1 from MW3 where I used to play 5.5. This game is a little bit more fast-paced. I also feel like the sensitivity values are a little bit different in this game. I believe there's actually some facts to point out that the vertical and horizontal stick sensitivities in this game are a little bit different to MW3. So 6.6 is what I go with. I'd say anywhere between 5.5 and 8.8 is this year is what you want to be using, but keep them the same. Don't go 5.6 or 5.4 or something. Go 6.6 or 7.7 or 8.8 is what I believe in. If you're one of those crazy people who can play 2020, then feel free. However, make sure you're hitting your shots. If you're not hitting your shots, bump it down, go to 6.6. You don't need to play at 2020 like a crazy madman. Next up, all of these, turn these off, do not need these whatsoever. However, these can be quite useful if you're on PlayStation, I believe. So if you want to swap them, feel free. But on Xbox, I would not advise doing this. This is basically swapping your triggers around. So LB and RB become your shoot and LTRT become your grenades and stuff. Controller vibration, already explained this Elite Series 2 segment, but turn this off. You do not want this shaking around your hand. There's absolutely no point in having this on. It will also save the lifespan of your controller with it not vibrating and using the modules that are in the controller to vibrate the controller 24/7. Dead zone inputs, this is very important. This is going to depend on how old your controller is or how new your controller is. You can use the test stick dead zone to see if you get any stick drift, but make sure you don't get any stick drift. But if you aren't getting any stick drift, I advise left stick on min of 2, so you can just move as soon as you want to. Leave this at 99. Right stick min I have at 5. Now, I could have this at 2 or even possibly 1. However, the reason for this being controllers do get stick drift. Unless you're one of those people who's got one of those special controllers with the new modules that are being put in that basically don't get any stick drift, you can put this to 1 or 2. However, when your controller does develop stick drift, you're going to have to change this and keep bumping it up for the amount of stick drift that you keep getting. And that's going to affect your aim. You're going to have to relearn your aim over and over again the more and more stick drift your controller gets over time. So I've got this set to 5 so that when it does, like, basically I'm never going to be affected by my controller getting stick drift by having it set to 5. And I can get a nice feel for my sensitivity and get used to that. So keep it on that. 99 for the right stick max, left trigger and right trigger 0/0. That's so that you can hit the trigger as soon as possible. As you can see, it says set how much trigger to be must be pressed to be considered. This means as soon as you press it, it will consider you aiming down sight or shooting, etc. Next up, aiming, sensitivity multiplier, leave this on 1. Don't change any of this at all. You can change the ADS sensitivity multiplier if you want to. I personally haven't. Look inversion, leave it on standard. Aiming in advanced settings, these are important, so listen up. ADS sensitivity transition timing, instant. There's no reason you shouldn't be having it on instant. This means you're going to have your sensitivity affecting as soon as you aim down sight. This doesn't really matter, to be honest. Aim response curve type. This is my secret sauce. This is something that has absolutely changed my game. I know people use dynamic, but not a lot of people change the aim response curve slope or even probably know about this. Change it anywhere between 0.60 and 0.70 and thank me later. Trust me, it is unbelievably amazing. I feel like I have more aim assist as well. I don't know if it's just the aim gets more sticky because of this, but you just feel like you are sticking to people. It's amazing. It's great. You can hit those long shots, those short range shots. It's great. Dynamic, I've got it on 0.63 if you want to copy it like for like, but anywhere between 0.60 and 0.70 is perfect. Change it by like a 0.05 increments every time to like try and get the one that works for you. And then if you really want to be precise like me, go 0.01 each time and see which feels better. But for me, 0.63. And then custom sensitivity with zoom I've got off. But if you are using those snipers and stuff and want to be able to, drag scope and stuff, you can bump these up a little bit. Don't feel like you need to, but yeah, you can change those if you want to. Target aim assist, I think this goes without saying. If you have aim assist, your own controller, make sure you got this on. There's no reason this shouldn't be on, and you're going to be missing a lot of shots if you don't. Sprint assist, have it on. However, I have decided this year with sprint assist delay to 0 as well. It should be on 0 automatically, but if it isn't, change it now because you're going to be having so much input delay because of this. But a lot of people have been using sprint assist sideways on and sprint assist backwards on. I have opted with off. The reason for this being, this game is very heavy and punishing on sprinting. If you're caught in a sprint in this game, or just not in a situation where you're aimed down sight, or an ability to be able to aim down sight quickly, you get heavily punished in this game. You are not getting out of that situation. So I know a lot of people are also going to say to use tactical sprint assist. I don't agree with this year. I think it's too punishing this year to be using tactical sprint assist. I think it's actually more of a hindrance this year than it is a good thing. I know some people are going to say that, it does help and it helps with slide cancelling stuff. It does, but if you get caught in that sprint, which is very easy to happen, you will have such an issue trying to aim down sight quickly in this game. So I suggest sprint assist on, but have sprint assist sideways and sprint assist backwards off. Do not have them on. Mantle assist, have it off, goes without saying. You don't want to be accidentally mantling anything. Crouch assist, got that off. Corner slice, I've left this on. I don't really notice too much of a difference, but I've left it on anyway. Seems okay. It doesn't seem to be doing anything too insane. Slide dive behavior. This is important. To be able to slide cancel as quick as possible, have it on hybrid. You can have it on slide only as well. But I've got on hybrid because the dive is still quite useful and I want to be able to use it. But this is more to be able to slide, and it will take advantage of the slide more so than the dive. But yeah, as you can see, tap only to slide or tap while holding sprint input to dive. I just like to use it for the slide cancel. The slide cancelling is great with this, and it is basically instantaneous. So make sure you got it on hybrid. Automatic airborne mantle, I've got, it should be off. Sorry, that's supposed to be off. Don't know why that was on. Sprint restore, I've got this off as well. I don't think this is very useful in this game. Again, don't want to be caught sprinting by accident. Slide maintains sprint, I've got on. Most of this doesn't really matter too much. Movement advanced settings. This you want to change though. Grounded mantle, you want that on. And then tactical sprint activation. I've got it on single tap to run. You can use single tap to sprint as well, but single tap to run means you can tack sprint instantly, which I know you don't want to be caught tack sprinting, but you do also want to be activating your tack sprint as soon as you want to just go in this game, because this game is a go, go, go get sort of game. Now imagine a lot of you know this. Sprinting door bash on. Nothing too crazy in there. Vehicle behaviors does not matter. Next up though, combat. Okay, aim down sight behaviors, hold. Weapon mount activation. Weapon mounting is not very useful in this year's game, but I've got it on anyway, just in case you need to use it. I don't know if there's any challenges this year for camos. I don't think there actually is. But either way, if you want to use it, it's there. ADS plus melee. Also stops you from accidentally weapon mounting when you don't want to. Nothing too crazy here. This depends on whether you want a body shield or finishing move. I've went with body shield. I've also left it so I can finish a move as well. But body shield, because body shield's cool and quite funny. Armor plate behavior, apply all. C4 detonation all at once. Equipment behavior hold, press. Combat advanced settings. Nothing too crazy here. Akimbo behavior independent. ADS stick swap, don't do this. Just leave that off. Nothing too crazy in here, to be honest. Overlay advanced settings, again, nothing too crazy in here, but I'm just showing you so you guys can see it. But other than that, that covers the controller settings. We are now going to move on to, of course, the graphics settings, which are very important. And the first thing to start with, if you can play at 120 Hz, which is 120 FPS, have this on. Make sure you're using this. It makes the game more responsive. It is much more better to aim with if you can do so. If you can't and you only have a 60 FPS capable console or a 60 FPS capable monitor, think about getting an upgrade, okay? 120 Hz is the new norm. It is a golden standard in gaming, I feel, when it comes to multiplayer gaming. It is fantastic playing at 120 Hz. I can't go back to playing at 60 FPS, put it that way, but I recommend getting a monitor and a console that can play at 120 Hz, and obviously a PC that can run close to 120 Hz. Obviously, it's a little bit different on PC. Gamma and brightness, this is all going to be depending on monitors, where I can't really tell you what the best setting is for you. You're going to just have to go off of this, which just says not visible, barely visible, and easily visible. On my screen, as you can see, that is how it is. So it's not visible, barely visible, and easily visible. I've got it at 47, but this will be different for every person. Eco mode preset, this is to stop your Xbox or PlayStation sound like it's going to explode. Same with PC. I've got it on low consumption. This does not affect your gameplay. You will not run at less frames, etc., or have worse performance. It just stops the menus from having so much FPS and stuff, and causing your Xbox to sound like it's going to take off, etc. Quality, have all of these off. You do not need these on. They are not useful whatsoever. Fidelity cast I've got on, and I've got it set to 80. I had it at 100, but I felt like it was a little bit too much. I will say now, this will cause more input delay. The higher you have the fidelity cast strength does actually give you more input delay, but you still want to be using this just because it does make the game look nicer and more visually appealing and easier to spot enemies. So I've got it at 80 just to have that input delay as little as possible. However, around 50 is when it starts to happen. So if you want to have it less than 50, it's up to you, but I'd have it anywhere between 80 and 100. On-demand texture streaming, unfortunately, this setting still exists. Don't know why it exists. We don't need it. I wish I could just download the assets, but never mind. Minimal, auto, and one. You can have the download limits on as well, like I have. This is just this will stop you having as much like packet burst issues, packet loss, etc. You don't want that sort of thing happening in this game, which I have not had any issues with, and I do have a video discussing like how to improve lag if you want to see that. So that is on the channel if you want to see how to improve your lag situation if you're experiencing lag, of course. But yeah. Next up, view, motion reduction preset, just have this off. Field of view, this is important, okay? Make sure you're getting this right because this does affect how your sensitivity feels and the way you run and stuff and the way the game feels. You need to make sure you're getting this correct. I have this at 103. In this game, I believe anywhere between 95 and 105 is what you should be going with. I've also got the ADS field of view on affected and wide weapon field of view because I don't know how to explain it. It doesn't give your gun less recoil, but it gives you that less recoil feeling and less visual recoil, so your weapon doesn't look like it's bouncing around as much. Have it set to wide. Trust me, it's a lot better. And again, I've went with field of view of 103. Anywhere between 95 and 105 is perfectly fine. Have these set to least, so this means your screen isn't shaking around as much when you're trying to aim and shoot, etc. And like, grenades are going off and stuff. I know, unfortunately, you can't put it on 0, but 50% will have to do. First person ADS doesn't really matter. Inverted flashbang, this is all personal preference as well. I have it personally set to off. Next up, audio. You can hit footsteps in this game. However, Season 1 has done an update to change footstep sounds. So I've left these as this. This is what I've been using, 0, 30, 100, and 0. Left those completely off. Enhanced headphone mode I have on. This is to pay for it. Do not pay for it. It's not worth it. Don't buy this. You do not need this whatsoever. Audio mix, I've got on headphone bass boost. Some people were saying, I think, to use sucker punch. Do not do this. Use headphone bass boost, in my personal opinion. Off, mute, light, in my system music. Obviously, I've got this because of copyright issues, but you can have this off if you want to. Asymmetrical hearing compensation, that's up to you again. Configure. This I haven't actually messed around with. This I feel like could actually make sound a lot better, but I haven't messed around with this too much just because I'm not very technical when it comes to audio cat. I'm not going to be the one to find out on what's great and what's not, but I might experiment with this at some point and let you guys know if I get any good results out of that. Reduced tinnitus sound, of course, when I have my ears for when I'm like 70 years old, etc. Voice chat, again, this should be working now in Season 1, so I'll probably mess around with these and see, what's working and what's not. And then finally, interface. The reason this stuff is actually important, because you don't need this. This is all off, skip, kill cam off, etc. You want your server latency on and your packet loss on, so you can see whether you're lagging or joined a bad server. If you do join a bad server, of course, just leave the game. There's no point playing at 100 ping. Subtitles and stuff don't really matter. This is important, though. Your color customization. This is how you get the game to look visually appealing. You can change all this. This is whatever color you want this to be. Like, I've got neutral set to purple and contested to yellow, etc. You can even change your squad member colors if you squad up with people. But what you want to do is color filter 2, set your color filter target to both, and your color world color intensity and interface color intensity both set to 100. This is going to make the game look visually appealing and visually at its absolute best, where you'll be able to spot people anywhere and everywhere. And then finally, gameplay HUD. Safe area. This is also important. The reason I've got this set to minimum and not all the way out, which I think most people think you should do, having it as close to the center means the minimap is brought closer to the screen, or the center of the screen. So you're not having to look away from the center of the screen to have to look at the minimap and go back and forth, back and forth. If you have it all the way out wide, you have to look from top left, back to the middle, top left, back to the middle, when you could just have it near to the center and not actually have to look away from the middle of the center of the screen when you're trying to aim, shoot, etc. and realize what's going on. There are HUD presets. I haven't actually used any of these. I haven't changed them whatsoever. I've got the minimap shape to square. Have it set to square. As you can see, you get more map surface, like area and image, so you can see more of the map. Minimap rotation on, radar off, compass type off, in-game text on. This is actually also quite important. You should definitely mess around with this to find what color it makes things more easier to see. I have the crosshair dot on, the center dot on default, and crosshair spread on. I've got this also set to 100, so it's not disappearing. I've changed the color to green. Some people have went with cyan and blues and stuff. You're going to have to test this for yourself and see what is better for you. I've personally find it easier to spot green out of everything, which is kind of weird because obviously there are some green elements to the game. But green seems to stand out for me, so I've went with green. I think some of you might want to go with yellow, red, etc. You're going to have to see what color visually stands out for you. Hit marker visuals on and damage-based hit markers on as well, so you can see the damage you're doing, etc. And then the rest of this, nothing too crazy there. But that is it. That is my Black Ops 6 Season 1 best settings and Black Ops 6 Elite Series 2 controller settings. Any questions about today's video when it comes to settings for either the Elite Series 2 controller for Black Ops 6 or my Black Ops 6 Season 1 settings that you want to understand better, or you want to know what you should be running, let me know down below in the comments. I will answer them as best as I can. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe notifications on. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.